Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast, brought to you in conjunction with the Old City Sports Network. Countdown continues, 9 days away from NFL football. Cannot wait for next week. I'm sure a lot of you have some big drafts coming up this weekend, including us. Biggest draft weekend of the NFL season. So if you're looking for more draft advice, definitely check out our YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We have episodes for every single team in the NFL, breaking them down, positional rankings, and a live draft, as well as mock drafts all over the past few months. So check that out if you're looking for some help. Also, our rankings are on our website as well. So if you need some ranks, check it out there. All of that link in our bio, Instagram, Twitter, Super Fantasy Bros. You'll find us. But for this episode, pivoting from typical fantasy content, again, going to be focusing more on the real NFL side of things. We are going to do our best to predict every team's record, each division winner, and our 7 playoff teams, final standings, and Super Bowl champion. Good luck in your drafts over the next week and a half, but let's get into talking some divisions, talking some predictions, starting with the NFC North. So I will quickly start for T-Gods. Obviously, as you can tell, he is not here. He probably will be back next week for our preseason award show, as well as week 1 preview as we get into the NFL season. But we do have his predictions. So I just want to get his out there in the world real quick. He does have the Vikings finishing at 13-4, Lions at 11-6, Bears at 10-7. I like that. I know y'all don't. Packers at 4-13, so all the way out on the Packers, but pretty high on the rest of this division. So Q, let's go to you first. What do you think about this division here?
So it should be pretty obvious if you know me that I'm going to put the Vikings first. At 14-3, we've got the Lions 12-5. I think some of the hype is real. They'll be a better team. I'm going to flip-flop the Packers and the Bears. I have the Bears at 6-11 and the Packers at 4-13, but I think Jordan Love is better than Justin Fields and this team as a whole. So Bears
he just loves pissing me off.
No, the Bears just stink. And I try doing my best to not be biased when I'd rather them lose every game because it's very possible when you have a running back, a quarterback, Pepe. But yeah, this is the Vikings division for sure.
All right, Matt, I guess we'll move on to you so you can continue this Vikings love trend.
I have the Vikings right where you do, sir.
Yeah,
at 11-6.
Don't expose me yet.
I have the Lions and the Bears both finishing 9-8. I think I like both of these teams, but I think they kind of fall in the middle of the pack as the entire NFL goes. And I have the Packers at 8-9.
I respect it. I think I am pretty close to where you're at. I have the Vikings at 11-6, fortunately still winning the division. I think last year their record got a little bit out of hand, but I am still high on them. I do still think they are the best team in this division. They should win this division, but I do have the Bears right behind them. I do think I did change their record. Let me double check just to make sure.
There's no way you think the Bears are
I did. I put them at 10-7, finishing second in this division.
Insane.
I am a believer in the Bears. I'm a believer in Justin Fields. They've made some upgrades this offseason. They're trying to do a quicker rebuild turnaround here. I'm in on the Bears. I do think they have a solid season this year. I am not fully buying into the Lions hype yet. I have them at 9-8. I do think they are kind of like one of those bubble playoff teams where they could prove me wrong, but 9-8 just feels right for them. Still Jared Goff. Still a little bit of issues here and there. I just don't love it.
He's better than Justin Fields. There's no way that you think the Bears are better than the Lions.
The Bears are the better team. Let's see what happens. We shall see. I just don't love the Lions. Their hype has gotten out of control, man. Out of control. And I also am a bigger believer in the Packers as well, Matt. I have them at 8-9. Same as you. I do think they are getting a little bit slept on. I think their defense is still really solid. Jordan Love can make some noise. He's obviously the major factor here. Like, if Jordan Love stinks, this team's going to be where Q has him at 4-13.
No, that's the Bears.
Sorry, 6-11. Either way, where T guys has them at 4-13. Like, the Packers will not be that great if Jordan Love stinks. But if he is serviceable, I do think they can make some noise. The defense should hold them down. They do have a solid running game as well. So let's move on to the NFC East. I'll start with T-Gods again. He has the Eagles going 14-3, winning the division handedly. Love to see it. Obviously, we are all Eagles fans here if you do not do that. So there will be some bias towards them. But
It's just the truth.
they are good this year, so don't sleep. Cowboys at 10-7, Giants reaching 7-10, and the Commanders all the way down at 2-15 for T-Gods. Q, back to you.
I was just going to say you all had the Commanders low, but I also have them at 3 wins. I do think they will be in a lot of games for sure. I think Sam Howell is better than people are getting credit for. But I have this Eagles at 16-1. Obviously, I go 17-0. I think the only game they lose will be against Buffalo. I think they'll get their revenge against KC, which maybe the 2 losses you guys gave them outside of another one, maybe in the division. But I have the Cowboys at 7-10. I think they stink, and Trey Lance will find his way in the starting lineup, which will just cause him to be stinky. I have the Giants at 8-9, and then the Commanders at 3-14. So I guess the NFC East is back to being ass besides the Eagles.
For you. Not a believer. Hating on everybody in this division.
Sorry, I love every other team in the NFC. I love the NFC.
You've been piping them up all off season, and now
it's just Darren Waller.
Predicting their records. You hate them. It's not just Darren Waller. There's plenty.
CeeDee Lamb,
wide receiver 1.
It's gonna cook the Eagles.
Yesterday, going to cook the Eagles.
Sam Howell, you was just loving him.
Yeah, Q fraud.
If you're not on the Eagles, I hate you. You suck at football.
All right, Matt. What do you have for the NFC East?
Well, obviously, I got the Eagles winning the division, finishing 15-2. I think, honestly, we probably have the best overall roster in the NFL. Not as high on the rest of the division as maybe you, Sean, and T-Gods are. I have the Cowboys second at 9-8. I think they're just going to be mediocre. I don't really see them exploding this year, and they'll be one of the fringe playoff teams. Giants and Commanders, I'm out on. Giants, I have 5-12, which is a bump up from last year. I only had them winning 2 games. So the Commanders had to take their spot, and Commanders are at 2-15.
Damn. Giants going from 9-7-1 to 5-12. Yeah. That's a fall off. That's a steep fall off. I will continue the NFC Beast trend from last year. I'm still in on the NFC East. I think they are probably the best division in the NFC. The NFC is pretty weak this year, and I think they have some of the better teams. I don't think they're perfect by any means, but just looking at schedules and whatnot, the way it shook out, this is where I have them going. Eagles at 13-4. I do have them starting off 13-3, and then having basically the chokehold on the NFC. So that gives them the right to kind of rest their starters week 18 and fall 13-4. Cowboys 11-6. Still think this team's going to compete well. I still think they have one of the better defenses in the league, as well as a serviceable enough offense. I still think obviously Dak's pretty mid, but I think the rest of it can kind of lift them up. Giants 10-7. I also think they have some good pieces. I don't think they're going to fall off too much from last year. Maybe I feel like that's basically where they finished last year. I think that's kind of where they are as a team. They added some pieces on offense. Defense may not have gotten too much better, but I think the Giants should be competitive this year for sure. And I'm with you. I do kind of like Sam Howell. I do think the Commanders could make some noise, but I have them at 3-14. I couldn't predict them much higher. I went through their schedule, and every time I saw them, I'm like, they're going to lose again.
I was accused of loving the NFC East, but you've just given the most compliments out to every team.
Well, I think they are. This should be the best division in the NFC. The NFC is weak. There's a lot of weaknesses. So going through the schedule, it just ended up working that way. We shall see. We'll talk about like our exact playoff standings once we get through each division as well. So let's move on to the NFC West. Actually, let me start with T-Gods again. Don't want to forget. T-Gods has the 49ers at 13-4, handedly winning this division, basically repeating their success from last year. He has the Rams bouncing back a bit after their 5-12 finished to 9-8. Seahawks taking a slight step back. I believe they were a little bit better than that last year. Oh, no, I have the same exact record, 9-8 as well. And then Cardinals at 2-15, falling off the map.
Yeah, they stink.
Yeah, you go ahead and add on to that.
So yeah, my standings aren't accurate. Like I have the 49ers to 16-1, but I'm just thinking their defense is that good. And they probably will overpower a lot of their opponents, but Brock Purdy will probably give them a couple more losses. Regardless, they'll win this division. Then I have the Seahawks at 11-6. I forgot that Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp were back, so I have the Rams at 3-14, but that's inaccurate as well. They'll probably win a couple more games. And then Cardinals at 2-15. If Kyler was playing, it'd be 0-17.
Stop.
He was
Stop
just going
hating.
through pressing buttons.
He really is. Go ahead, Matt.
All right. All right. Same with everybody else. I have the Niners winning this division at 13-4. I think they also still have one of the better defenses in the NFL, and their weapons on offense is insane and kind of allows Brock Purdy not to have to do too much and just kind of manage the game because they have a good enough defense to keep them in almost every game they play. Got the Seahawks at 11-6. I do believe in this team again, as much as I don't like to admit my love of Geno. But I think in this division, the Rams and the Cardinals just aren't on par with them. I have the Rams at 7-10. Probably where Q would have them if he didn't forget about Stafford and Kupp. But the Cardinals are going to be the worst team in the league. I have them finishing 2-15.
2-15.
Yep.
I want to go one further. I have the Cardinals going 1-16. This team is a dumpster fire. Kyler's not going to be back till halfway through the season. And honestly, if he's not like 100% early on, I wouldn't be shocked if they just like shut him down. They're like blatantly tanking at this point, trading for Josh Dobbs to be their starter. Cardinals are done. Moving back to the top, though, 49ers, I have finishing a little bit worse than last year, 11-6. I do think their schedule's a bit tougher this year, playing the Ravens, the Bengals as well, Vikings, the Eagles. They have some tough matchups. I think they also lose a couple in the division, probably splitting with like the Seahawks and the Rams. So 49ers 11-6, still going to win the division, still going to be a playoff team for sure. But then I have the Seahawks finishing at 10-7. I am a believer in Geno. I am a believer in this offense. Got a little bit better. Defense was pretty solid last year. I think they should be all right again. Rams 8-9. I still just not in love with this team. This roster's kind of fallen apart since that Super Bowl roster. They still have some of the core pieces, which could get them a little bit more competitive this year as long as Stafford's looking better and Kupp's on the field. But not in love with the Rams. More of a bubble playoff team for me. All right, let's wrap up the NFC with the NFC South. T-Gods absolutely has no faith in this division whatsoever. He has the Falcons winning it at 8-9, below 500. A little bit. I don't even love the Falcons, but that's a hot take. Bucks and the Saints both at 6-11, and then the Panthers wrapping it up at the bottom at 4-13. This is basically going to be the doormat of the NFC for T-Gods. I respect it. It's not looking great, but I have a little bit more faith. I'll talk about that in a sec. Q, you can go with your thoughts for the NFC South.
Yeah, so I thought this was a little insane, but I'm going to ride it. Saints 14-3. Looking at who they're first of all, they play.
They do have a light schedule.
They had the best quarterback in the division. As much as I hate Derek Carr, so that's 6 wins right there in the division. And then they play the AFC South and the terrible teams within the AFC or the NFC North. So it could be. I mean, they have the weapons. They have a great defense. And Michael Thomas is back and Jimmy Graham. So that just kind of puts them over the top right there. Then I have the Bucks at 7-10.
Grandpa.
I think they'll fight. I don't know. They'll fight.
Mike Evans will fight.
He will against the Saints, and then we have the Falcons at 6-11. I don't think Desmond Ridder is good enough to give them over 500 record, and the Panthers are going to stink. 2-15. Those 2 wins will come from Miles Sanders going off. Besides that, they'll stink as well.
That is a wild chat message on Twitch. If anyone is in the chat, please ignore that message. We don't have any mods. We're not big enough. So, yo, who are you showing it? Any message, any weirdo bull. Yeah, we'll move on to you, Matt. We'll keep it rolling. What do you have for this division?
Well, I got the Saints winning it. Not as confident in them as Q. I think they'll finish 9-8, kind of just middle of the pack of the NFL. I do think Derek Carr is a big QB upgrade for them. I doubt we'll see Michael Thomas a full season though. I have the Falcons in second at 6-10-1. I actually have them.
God, you gave him a tie.
I have them tying
The tie
I
is
believe
hilarious.
it's the Atlanta Falcons, week 8 or something like that. So just had to squeak one in there, and then I have the Bucks at 5-12 and the Panthers at 4-13.
Yeah, I respect that. Honestly,
Sean-
this division isn't going to be great.
Sean, you should tell your sports book to make like a over-under amount of ties in an NFL season. Unless there is I feel like that could be a good bet. There were 2 last season.
I feel like it's probably already out there.
Make that the line, over under 2 ties.
Probably like a season special prop or something.
Yeah.
On at least some book. Yeah, it's got to be out there somewhere. But yeah, for me in the NFC South, I am also a believer with the Saints with Q. I think Derek Carr does give this team an upgraded quarterback that they were kind of missing last year. I still think this defense is relatively solid. I have them going 11-6. They do have one of the easier schedules in the league. Like you said, the division stinks. I have them going 5-1 there. But then outside of that, they also have some relatively easy matchups. So I do like the Saints. Outside of that, I really don't like anyone else. I think the Bucks could be relatively competitive. 6-11, I have them going. I think they're going to be a little bit up and down, but at the end of the season, I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think Baker gets them to anywhere that close to 500 or anywhere near above 500. Panthers and Falcons, I also have both going 5-12. I think these are 2 younger, exciting teams, but I don't really think any of them are going to make too much noise. So pretty mid-division overall. I do think it's not going to be great. Before we get into the AFC, Tom in the chat, what's going on? Going through our predictions for this NFL season. Let's do today's sponsor before we get in the AFC. Underdog Fantasy, easiest way to play fantasy football. You can get started now. Best Ball Mania contest still going on. 9 days left, so make sure you join up. $10 million in prizes. They also have a ton of other smaller contests. If you're looking for some, just like a 12-man league, you can join leagues there. Best Ball, you don't have to set your lineup all season. $3, $5, $10, whatever. Drafts going all the time. It's not like your DraftKings where you're buying players or bidding on players. It's a real draft. You join a draft your team, quick, easy, and fun. So sign up, use our code SUPERFB, 100% deposit match up to $100. So if you deposit $100, get another $100 matched free. Again, promo code SUPERFB, SUPERFB. You can download the Underdog Fantasy app on iOS and Android, or you can sign up online, underdogfantasy.com, and definitely play responsibly. Let's do the AFC North. I'll start with T-God's picks. As always, Bengals at 13-4. He's ready for them to make another playoff run. Ravens at 10-7 with a bounce-back season. And then the Steelers and Browns rounding it out as competitive teams, 8-9 and 7-10. Q, you are up. I gave you a nice little note on your wild prediction.
Yeah, I have the Browns at 13-4, which Sean has noted. They've never won 13 games in their franchise history. They've also never had a quarterback as good as Deshaun Watson in their franchise. So I think a full season of him, he'll be back to Texan form with Cooper and Chubb. Chubb's best season, most likely ahead of us. So they're taking this division. Then I have the Bengals at 11-6. I think Joe Burrow's only beaten the Browns once or twice. Maybe once, and it was this last season ever in his career. So I think that's where a lot of his losses have come when I did this. Steelers at 8-9, and then the Ravens also at 8-9. I'm just not a big believer in Lamar Jackson, but I am a big believer in Odell Beckham, so he'll get them those 8 wins. J.K. Dobbins also stinks. I'm throwing shots at all of your players.
Oh, yeah, you are. Hater. Matt, we'll bounce to you for this division. It seems like you are also high on the Browns with Q.
I am. I'm actually pretty high on this entire division. I have the Bengals winning it at 14-3. I think nothing has shown me otherwise of them not being the best team in this division. But I think the Browns are going to be a lot more competitive this year. I have them and the Ravens going 11-6. I see a big bounce back year for the Ravens as well. And the Steelers just at the bottom at 6-11. I just don't think this team is fully developed yet to where they can compete, especially in this division. So they're just kind of bottom of the barrel for me right now.
Like Tomlin's first under 500 season.
Yep.
At least 2 of us think that. 3
Not
of us. 3 of us
me,
think that.
baby. Not me. I am still a believer. I'll start at the top, though. I do have the Ravens going 13-4. I do think the benefit of not finishing at the top of the division helps them a little bit this year in terms of strength of schedule. You do have a little bit of an easier path, as well as I just like Lamar coming back healthy. I like that they added a few more weapons for him. Maybe not the greatest weapons, but I am a believer in Zay Flowers. I do think OBJ still has some juice in him. Bateman hopefully able to stay healthy. If Dobbins can stay on the field, I think this offense can make some noise. Defense will always be there for a John Harbaugh team. Bengals I have next, 11-6. Obviously, this offense is going to destroy. I think they just have a little bit of a tough schedule. They have Chiefs on the road. Obviously, they have to play in Pittsburgh and Baltimore in the division and Cleveland as well. They also have Jaguars on the road. They have the Bills and the Seahawks as well. Titans on the road. It's not the easiest schedule. They have some tough matchups. So I have them going 11-6. Still definitely a playoff team. Still far above average. Then I have the Steelers also above 500, 9-8. I'm just a believer, Mike Tomlin. They'll figure it out. This offense, maybe not the best, but another year for Kenny Pickett. I do think he can take some steps forward, and if he does, this offense should be a lot better. Finally, rounding it out with the Browns, not as big a believer as you guys are. 7-10. Deshaun Watson didn't show me anything last year. I'm like, yo, this team's going to the playoffs.
Games.
The offense has not really improved much. Elijah Moore doesn't really make me go, oh yeah, we're all in here. They also lost Kareem Hunt. Obviously, Chubb is still going to be just fine there, but I don't love this offense. Defense also relatively mid. I'm not buying into the Browns yet. I want them to prove me wrong.
Well, after this season, we will crown Deshaun Watson as the best quarterback in this division.
Stop.
I promise you. Well, he was. Okay, so Deshaun Watson, the Houston.
Someone click that.
If he was the same as Houston, we would call him the best quarterback in this division because he was like the third best, second best at that time.
Burrow and Lamar also have at that time Lamar was MVP.
I don't, but we didn't consider him the best quarterback in the league. He was just MVP.
He was top 3.
No,
at that point.
No, he was.
Yes, he was. People were considering Lamar.
It was like Brady, Rodgers, and Deshaun Watson and Mahomes. Before
Lamar was there in that conversation for sure.
But it doesn't matter. At the end of the season, Deshaun Watson will be better than he was in Houston, and I'm not stuttering. Best quarterback in this division. Best quarter. No, I won't say AFC because we still got my boy Jay Herbo, so he'll be the second best, third best.
This is scorching hot. Too. I like it though. I like the hotness. All right, move on to the AFC East, starting with T-Gods again. He is all in on this division. Bills winning it at 14-3. Jets right behind him, one game back at 13-4. Dolphins also 11-6. So all these teams at least 5 games above 500. Very competitive at the top here. And then Patriots still also putting up a respectable 7-10 season. All in on this division for T-Gods. Q, it looks like you are kind of on that same path.
I'm surprised he gave that many wins to the Patriots. I feel like he's kind of I thought he would have been in the same boat as but Bills 16-1. They're never mind. The Dolphins 11-6, Jets at 11-6. It'll be pretty tight between those two, and then the Patriots at 3-14 because they stink. I can't believe they dropped.
I think they might tank though.
They should have cut Mac Jones rather than Bailey Zappi. It's the same quarterback, so they could have. I guess they just played rock paper scissors for who gets cut.
Nah, there's no way they were cutting Mac. I mean, they've invested in him. He does stink, but I mean, they're going to roll him out. They're going to continue to roll him out there. That would be crazy if they cut Mac Jones.
Could be his last year if he stinks.
It definitely could be. It's kind of a prove year for him for sure. I think they probably just look for like a trade target or something, just ship him off somewhere.
Kyler.
Yeah,
they're about the same value basically.
CFL.
Belichick might be tanking for Caleb, so we'll see. Moving on to you, Matt. What do you think of this division?
The juggernaut is always the Bills going 14-3. They just seem to have those double-digit wins each year with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Then I have the Jets at 12-5. Dolphins not far behind at 11-6. I think this will be one of the better divisions. Aside from the Patriots, who I have at 6-11, they're kind of a dumpster fire right now.
6 wins is a lot, though.
It's not bad.
The defense will win them games.
Yeah, and Belichick will figure out a way to slow down some teams and creep out a win here or there. But they're definitely the bottom of the barrel in this division.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I'll wrap it up here for us for this division. I got the Jets winning 14-3. I think they take advantage of the easier schedule. I even have them losing to the Bills twice. I basically just have them taking care of business against pretty much everybody else in the league. The Jets, I'm just a believer in this offense. I obviously think Aaron Rodgers takes this way step up, and I think the defense is, as they showed last year, very elite. So Jets should be rock solid. I have the Bills right behind a 13-4. I think you could go either way here with those two at the top. I am not in on the Dolphins. I have them at 7-10. I think the offense has some good weapons, but at the end of the day, like, I just don't know if they are that great. I don't know if Tua is going to be able to stay on the field. We saw him obviously struggle last year. I hope he can. But they were 9-8 last year. They had a negative point differential of like 38. God. I don't know. I don't love the Dolphins. Defense isn't that great either. They've kind of made some weird moves where like I don't know if they're all in or not.
Jalen Ramsey.
To get Jonathan Taylor, that would probably change it a little bit for me. I'd push him probably closer to that playoff, at least 9-8 at that point again. But right now, I'm just not a believer. Patriots, I'm at 5-12. Bill's going to win 5 games. He's not going to like lay over and die in tank as much as I think they should. I don't think he's going to do it. So they're going to win 5 games, whether they want to or not. All right. AFC West. We'll start with T-Gods. Again, here he is with the Chiefs at the top. I mean, feels like a no-brainer, but we will see in a little bit. Chiefs at 13-4. Chargers at 11-6. And he is just not a believer in the other two teams. Broncos, Raiders, 5-12 apiece. Does not love them. Q, seems like you're flip-flopping.
Yeah, so I have the Chargers at 15-2. Kellen Moore, if he was the head coach, they'd probably go 17-0. But he's not. So time management will probably kill him a couple games. I have the Chiefs at 10-7. Please, God, I hope this happens. I pray to God. Then I have the Raiders down at 6-11. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback, winning percentage-wise. He wins a lot of games. He wins a lot of games. He has Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. But that being said, they're still going to finish third in this division. And then I have the Broncos at 3-14. They're coming out of a hole, and they just lost Jerry Jeudy for who knows however long. So we may not see the return of Russ, even though they have Sean Payton and an okay defense. Maybe too much to overcome.
We shall see.
Fuck the Chiefs.
Chiefs hater. Matt, what do you got?
Well, I have a brain, so I have the Chiefs still winning this division.
Mine is just bigger.
So you think. Your head's just bigger.
You got some big domes.
All right. Q, pull up the picture.
I almost did.
Put that picture out.
But I got the Chiefs winning. Chargers not far behind at 12-5. I think they're by far the 2 top dogs here. We all agree. Raiders finishing at 6-11. I think they'll squeak out a couple wins here and there. And the Broncos, I have absolutely no faith in at 4-13. Russ just didn't look like Russ that we knew last year. I don't see that changing. Like Sean said, Judy's already hurt. We'll see if. Sorry, Q said that. And we'll see if their offense can stay healthy with Javonte and all that. But I'm not big on the Broncos this year.
Yeah. I respect it. I will wrap it up. I got the Chiefs 12-5. I'm closer to Q than actually pretty at the same. But I do think they're still 12-5. I still think they're going to win this division. I found some losses for them, but they're still the Chiefs. It's hard to pick against them after they've been so consistent over the last pretty much decade. Even before Patrick Mahomes with Alex Smith, they were still like a certified playoff team. Andy Reid just knows what he's doing. Chargers 10-7. Chargers are just going to charger their way to some losses. I can't go all in on the Chargers. I did last year. I think I had them upsetting the Chiefs to win the division last year, I believe. I don't remember exactly. If not, I had them very close. And I do still think they are the second best team in this division, but Chargers are going to charger. Broncos, I have at 9-8. I think they do take a step forward with Sean Payton at head coach. I think that helps a little bit. But I don't think they're going to be great. 9-8, I think they'll be competitive in most weeks. They don't have the toughest schedule, so I think they should be okay. they'll definitely take 9-8. I think that's a successful first season for Sean Payton. I think they'll probably be between like 7-10. I think 9-8 might be their ceiling, to be honest. Maybe I went a little heavy on them, but should be all right. And the Raiders, 1-16.
Jesus.
Lock it in. Raiders are tied for the worst record in the NFL this season. Downgrade a quarterback from Derek Carr to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Barely. Not even.
Downgrade on offense with losing Darren Waller, replacing him with Jacoby Myers. This defense is still not very good whatsoever. They barely replaced Darren Waller as well at that tight end position. They have Michael Mayer. I guess he's a rookie. He should be okay. But Austin Hooper, he stinks. Serviceable at best. I don't love the defense, and I don't love Josh McDaniels. I don't think he's that great. They were 6-11 last year with Devontae Adams, Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs having the best season of his career. I don't think they improve. I think they still take a step back. I don't think Jimmy G is an upgrade, and he has barely played healthy seasons in the NFL. He has some wins under his belt, don't get me wrong, but if he goes down, it's Brian Hoyer. Like, I don't think this team is going to be good. I don't think it's built to last. Josh Jacobs is already unhappy. We'll see how long Devontae Adams is able to put up with it. I'm out on the Raiders. They're going to fall apart.
They're better than the Cardinals.
The
Cardinals
they are better than the Cardinals, but I have them winning one game. So by record standings, they're bad. All right. Last division, AFC South, starting with T-God's Jaguars 11-6. I think that'll probably be the consensus for us with them winning the division. Titans at 9-8. And then hates the other two teams in this division. Texans 4-13. Colts 3-14, all the way out on Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud for T-Gods this season. Q, are you in the same boat?
Yes, I have the Jaguars winning at 11-6. I think the Titans are still in it. Mike Vrabel is a top coach in this league, and they still have some good pieces. They added Diop, so I have them at 11-6 as well. The Colts at 2-15. JT not playing the first 4 games is as if they're already going to hurt enough. They're going to hurt even more now. And the Texans I have at 1-16. I don't really believe that. I think they'll win maybe 3 games, but I guess they'll be 50-50. We'll see. But yeah, Texans are still going to finish at the bottom of this division. Or at least they'll be fighting with the Colts for the bottom of the division.
Chandler also out on the Titans in the chat. Fucking terrible.
They're not terrible.
They might be okay. I'm not fully out. Matt, you are up next. I think you are in agreement with Chandler.
I am fully out on the Titans. We'll get to that. I have the Jaguars winning this division pretty dominantly. I have them finishing 13-4. Big believer in this offense. I don't know what's driving it towards this record, but maybe it's T-Law's jump last year or Calvin Ridley or all the above. Or I think it's mainly just the division, because I don't think I have them losing a single game against the other 3 teams. And then I have the Colts at 5-2. Not too big on Anthony
5-12.
I mean 5-12.
5-2 would be nice to start.
They would use up all their wins right then and there. But I have the Titans at 5-11-1. That is the team that will tie with the Falcons. I think them and the Falcons are pretty similar. So I think there's a game where they'll just finish with the same score. And Texans 2-15. Not much to talk about there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Chandler, that's a pretty hilarious comment. Derrick Henry and 10 future car salesmen. Don't sleep on D-Hop. And Tannehill is pretty mid, though. He could be selling cars.
So definition of mid. I fucking hate Tannehill.
But I am not that far out on the Titans. I have the Jaguars at 11-6. I do think they will continue to run this division. I think Doug Peterson's still a hell of a coach. Obviously, we had him in Philly, so I think he will get this team to where they need to go. And Calvin Ridley obviously gives them a little bit of a boost on offense. They've added a little bit of help on defense as well. I think they should be fine. Titans, I have it 10-7. I don't think they have the toughest schedule. I think D-Hop does help this passing offense that was abysmal last year. But even so, the Titans still end up like just being competitive no matter what. Like they were 7-10 last year, wasn't great. I think they do take a little bit of a step forward again. I do like Mike Vrabel a lot as coach. So 10-7. I like the Titans. Colts, don't hate them as much as maybe you guys do. I have them at 6-11. I think I'm the highest out of all of us. I think their defense is still relatively all right, and want to see what Anthony Richardson can do. And again, not the toughest schedule. I think they're going to beat up on the Texans twice, and I think they have a couple other easy games in their schedule where I ended up being like, all right, I'll take the Colts here too. Texans, though, I'm all the way out on again, 2-15. Slightly better than the Raiders and the Cardinals, but don't like them either. CJ Stroud, I think it's kind of like a test run this year. Not many weapons. This team's kind of in rebuild mode. We'll see what D'Amico Ryans can do. I know he's going to want to play very good defense, so that's going to be his focus. I think the offense is going to be pretty abysmal. All right, that is it for each division by division. So let's get into how that shakes out for our playoff predictions. So again, I will start with T-Gods. I'll start with the NFC. T-Gods has them going, the Eagles going 14-3, taking the number 1 seed. Vikings at 13-4 at number 2. Niners also winning the division at 13-4. And again, Falcons 8-9, getting a 4 seed. Disrespectful to the 5 seed Lions. He has there at 11-6. And Bears and Cowboys rounding it out at 10-7. Not too bad overall. I think I agree here and there. But the bubble teams for him, he has the Rams and the Seahawks both at 9-8 as well. Teams that maybe could sneak into the playoffs.
That's fair.
I guess we'll go conference by conference. So Q, you could go next for your NFC playoff predictions.
So it's somewhat similar at the top, at least. Eagles, 49ers, and Vikings, first 3 seeds in that order. Then we have the Saints with the 4th seed. And then Lions, Seahawks, and Giants down at the 7th seed. The bubble teams for me are going to be the Cowboys and the Bucks. I would like to see the Bucks in there.
That would be interesting.
That's a lot.
But
just hates the NFC. Hates it.
He does.
I just like the Eagles.
Nah, I do too. All right, Matt. NFC 1-7. What do we got?
Top is looking pretty similar to the rest of you guys. Got the Eagles, 49ers, Vikings. I also have the Saints at 4 with Q. Seahawks, Cowboys, Lions rounding it out at 7. And for the bubble teams, I have Sean's favorite team, the Bears, and the Packers.
Go Bears. Bear down.
What happens when the Eagles play the Bears in the playoffs and Justin
Eagles
Fields possibly scores a touchdown? Sean's be like, oh, fuck.
He's going to be like, yes, fuck, yeah.
Love me some Justin Fields, but in playoffs, there's no fantasy implications. I'm all Birds. Yes, my NFC teams are pretty similar to you guys as well. I do have the Eagles at the 1, 13-4. I have all the division winners after that at 11-6. Niners, Vikings, Saints in that order. 5, 6, 7. Cowboys at 11-6. Giants 10-7. Bears sneaking into the playoffs, baby. 10-7. Now I also have the Seahawks at 10-7, so I could see them also taking that spot. They are my bubble team, definitely the highest one I have. Lions as well, I also have some faith in, but I think the hype's gotten out of control. I have them at 9-8. And Packers and Rams I also have in the mix at 8-9. So I have a lot of teams kind of right there, but I am most confident in the Bears. I'm most confident in the NFC East with the Giants and the Cowboys also making it. I think it should be relatively competitive for the NFC, but I think the Eagles should have it pretty much wrapped up there. We will touch on that. You're lucky my desk is made of wood.
You can knock on your head if there's no wood around.
I got plenty of wood.
Same.
Whoa.
Whoa.
All right, let's move on to the AFC before we get into our Super Bowl predictions. T-Gods in the AFC has the Bills at 14-3 at the 1, Chiefs at 13-4, Bengals at 13-4, and then the Jags rounding out the division winners at 11-6. And then 5, 6, 7 has the Jets easily taking the 5 seed. Looks like they'll have that locked up for some time. And the Chargers and Dolphins rounding it out 11-6 as his playoff teams. And then he also has the Ravens at 10-7, Titans 9-8, still in that mix in the hunt. But it looks like Jets, Chargers, Dolphins grabbing those wild card spots for him. I
was excited for the AFC. So a bit different. I have Bills, Chargers, Browns, top 3 seeds.
Super different.
Jaguars, Bengals, Titans, 4, 5, and 6. Dolphins at 7. These bubble teams. The Jets and then the Chiefs bubble team probably won't make it in, but we'll give them the bubble team title. Fuck the Chiefs. They're not making it in
as a bubble team.
They're not making it in, though. I can't wait till they're watching from the outside this year.
You're crazy. All right, Matt, what do you got for the AFC?
For the AFC, I have the Chiefs at the number 1, Bengals right behind them at the number 2, Bills 3, all finishing 14-3. Jags are overtaking the number 4 spot from the Chargers at 13-4. Chargers right behind 12-5, along with the Jets. And then the love of the Browns, Q, I'm with you. I have them 7 at 11-6. And this AFC is going to be juicy because I also have the Ravens and the Dolphins at 11-6. So I feel like that'll be a fight for that last playoff spot.
Yeah, I agree. The AFC is always pretty tight for those last few wild card spots. I will stick with the tradition of the AFC when we get there, when I get to my wild card teams. But I have the Jets as the number 1 seed in the AFC at 14-3. Just a believer. I already talked about it earlier. Ravens, I have at 2 there. I have them bouncing back strong at 13-4. Chiefs, still a playoff team, not getting that home field advantage that they always have. 12-5 at the 3 seed. And Jaguars 11-6 at the 4 seed, taking their division. Bills, obviously close behind the Jets. I have them at 13-4. Obviously, still think that could go either way, but I will take the Bills there. I think as it breaks down either way for me, I would think Jets or Bills are going to be 1-5. I think that those two are the top 2 teams in AFC this season. Bengals at 6, 11-6, still going to be solid, still a playoff team. And I have the Titans squeaking in there in the 7 seed at 10-7. I think that would be a fun rematch with the Ravens in the first round. So hopefully we get to see that. But bubble teams.
Hold on, I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick because I don't want to hear you disrespect the Chargers as a bubble team.
Chargers, bubble team. While Q's not here, he can watch this back. Chargers are going to Charger. They always are in the playoff hunt through the end of the season, and then they always somehow fumble the bag, whether it's actually a fumble, an interception, just even what it was Phillip Rivers. Everyone was like, Phillip Rivers stinks, but now they got Justin Herbert. Everyone was considering elite, still cannot get into the playoffs. And even if they do, they always end up fumbling the bag there too. But I think they're going to Charger their way again to 10-7, another successful season, but not in the playoffs. Other 2 bubble teams, Steelers and the Broncos. I do think those teams are just going to play some competitive football this season. I had them going around 500. I think they will have a chance to squeak in to that 7 seed as well. That is it for the playoff teams. So before Q comes back, I will get into T-God's Super Bowl prediction. I don't think it matters much. I think we all have a different team that they're playing, but T-God starts us off with the Eagles and the Bengals meeting in the Super Bowl, and the Eagles taking the W. Gotta love it. Q, I think you're pretty similar.
I've got the Eagles and the Bills in the Super Bowl, with the Eagles winning easily.
Spicy. Matt, what do you got?
With you guys, I got the Eagles Super Bowl against Sean's number 1 seed, the Jets. I think Aaron Rodgers has a great year this year with the Jets. Overall, their team is super solid. They have a great offense, maybe even a better defense. So I could easily see us meeting them in the Super Bowl. But final score, Eagles 28, Jets 24.
It's too close for my chest.
They're always close.
That is true.
Yeah, definitely not going to be a blowout in the bowl, aside from that like Seahawks one. That one was wild.
Yeah, that was garbage.
I will wrap it up. Eagles, Ravens in the Super Bowl. I do think the Ravens have a nice bounce back season. They finally get there. Lamar puts together another solid campaign. Big believer. We get the battle of the running quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. And of course, got the Eagles winning. I think they take it easily through the NFC. They get the home field advantage. And then matching up against the Ravens, I think they do match up well. This Eagles offense is going to be so solid. And obviously the defense is looking very solid as well. So go Birds, not the Ravens, specifically the Eagles.
I wish like they one day they'll do it where they set up the league where like the playoffs are AFC and NFC just mixed match, so like the Eagles could play the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Like, just imagine saying we beat the Cowboys. I don't know, some crazy like that. It just sucks that we'll never get to that point. Maybe we will. If I'm the commissioner, I'm changing up the rules.
Yeah, that was a wild comment. We were LOLing as well. But yeah, that is it for the predictions for the season. We do have a couple of trivia questions before we get out of here. So Q, what do we have today? We got to swap up the screen again.
Yeah. we're going to play another 2 rounds of wavelengths since it wasn't too bad last time. Let me see which one we'll do first. All right. So, yeah, it'll be same thing, 3 categories for each number. I have the number in my head. I will give you the 3 categories. And
I feel like you'd be changing it.
No, I no, because when you guys got 2, I was so surprised when you guys got 2 yesterday. So yeah, here we go. This is the first category for the first number. Category is NFL logo, and the NFL logo is the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm waiting for the okay. Second, I chose this picture. It is. Oh, let me write. I have it.
I
in
better
my
not
list.
be on the slideshow.
No, you're not. The second is Michael Pittman's
Might be.
2022 preseason hype versus his actual result in 2022. He's actually wearing a cutoff in this picture. I wish it wasn't so blown up.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I'm thinking it's yeah. I
And
don't
then
spoil.
the third is the price of beers at the stadium.
Okay.
have an idea.
I got a number as well. All right, I got my number.
Okay, I will count down. 3, 2, 1.
3.
4.
It was 1.
I had a feeling it was 1, but Pittman wasn't that bad, and that was the only thing dragging me up.
But we were hyping it. Everyone hyped him up as
I
if he was
hyped
gonna
him
be
up
top
as he was
12.
going to be wide receiver 1. He still finished wide receiver 20, so he wasn't like dog water.
He was close.
And I was like, beer prices are pretty bad. And then I was also like, Commanders logo's okay, I guess.
What would you call a 1 logo?
The Browns.
Nah, they just got a new one. That dog one or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty clean.
I don't know.
The Commanders are probably honestly the one, if I thought about it harder. The Pittman thing threw me off. I think also my bias for Pittman was shining through.
All right. We can go on to the next one.
That guy with the beer in his mouth is hilarious.
All right. So for the next round, first category is having Pat Fryermuth as your tight end 1 in fantasy.
Okay.
Then we're gonna go late 2000s retired quarterbacks, Tony Romo.
Okay.
Fuck that guy.
And then
As a player.
snack choices at the stadium, snack / food, Cracker Jacks.
Okay. That I think that sealed it in for me.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
3.
Yeah, it was 3.
The Cracker Jack brought it back down for me. What was the
not-
I was
first
at
image
a. I was sitting at a 4 again.
What was the
now,
first image again?
It was Pat
Fryermuth.
Fryermuth as your tight end 1.
Yeah, so that was like, all right, 3 to 5 range. And then you said Romo, and I was like, Romo wasn't that bad. So I started pushing towards like 4 and 5, but I was just like, my Eagles bias was pushing
Yeah, the
down.
bias, you had to keep the bias out. That's what I was hoping.
And then Cracker Jacks, I was like, oh, I'm locking in the 3. Cracker Jacks are like probably the last choice that I would choose.
But they
Would
do
not-
smack.
Would
But they were
Nachos
pretty-
have brought
they
it
were
up?
pretty good.
Yeah, not Cracker Jack. Would Nachos have brought the number up? Because that was I was talking to Eileen. I'm like, what do you think is a snack that's like a 3 out of 10? And she said nachos. I said
Nachos are like a 7 out of 10. I fuck with nachos. Heavy.
Nachos would have brought it way up.
Yeah, I would have said 5 if it was nachos.
So
Maybe
that
said like
is-
peanuts is probably in that range too.
I was like, do you think pretzels?
But I like
A
peanuts.
pretzel would you have put around 3 or 4?
Nah, I
Yeah.
love pretzels because they're cheaper.
Like a soft pretzel.
That's true.
When I go to a game, if like I'm not trying to get full food, I'm like, I'm grabbing a fucking pretzel, hammering that shit. Pretzel to beer smacks at a football game. All right, that is it for the NFL predictions episode. We will revisit this episode at the end of the season when we do our end of season recap, see how far off we were. I think last year we weren't too bad, but there were some pretty bad takes. I think we were all way out on the Giants, and they were very solid last year. So anything can happen. Got to be a little bit bold. Got to love Q's boldness. Got to hate Q for putting this on the screen again. I'll put anything over that. I don't even know where it was. So I couldn't get it off. Put the Cracker Jacks back up. Yeah. Again, if you are interested in using Underdog Fantasy, make sure you use our code SuperFB. Help support us. We also have Fanatics.
Recently released.
Partnership with Fanatics. They have a ton of discounts going on all the time. Use that link in our bio across all platforms. And next week, we are in full swing for football season, doing our preseason award show as our last kind of off-season episode, and then week 1 preview.
Let's go.
The NFL is back. As always, follow us on all platforms. As I just mentioned, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're pretty much everywhere. Check out Old City Sports. Ton of good podcasts. Bunch of great sponsors over there as well. That link is in our bio too. And we will see you guys next week. Peace. D-God's not my favorite receiver in history. Not. I definitely love Jarv. Okay, bye.